By the way, hilarious episode. Maybe the wackiest one they've done. This was not a comedy. All right.
Yeah,
there
most
you go.
people might have needed to see the doctor for the whiplash from the last episode.
Right, and to the next one. Where are the laughs? Hail, Internet. It's Paul. It's Matt. The Dork Lords. We are here today talking about Star Trek Strange New Worlds, Season 2, Episode 8, Under the Cloak of War. We open with the Enterprise welcoming aboard a former Klingon general, Doc Ra, who defected to Starfleet and now acts as a Starfleet ambassador. We later learn he is also known as the Butcher of Jakal. We end with a deliberately vague scene behind a screen in which Mbenga kills Doc Ra. Pike questions Mbenga about the incident. Mbenga says, "I didn't start the fight, but I'm glad he's dead." He then makes an officer's log entry about fixing a med bay. He's fixed it temporarily, but he knows it'll break again. His last line, "Some things break in a way that can never be repaired, only managed." So, that said, Paul...
Yes.
What did you think of Episode 8?
So I admired it for its ambition. And there were things that I liked about the episode, but I don't think it succeeded in what it was trying to do.
Okay.
So
what do you
like
think
the
it was trying to
6.5
do?
maybe.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I think they wanted, in a way, again, I think it was, like you said a few times, where it's like, what they want is Mbenga to have killed someone, and because of the war, and so he did.
Yeah.
And so that's what they wanted, and so they built the episode up around that.
I see what you mean. They took the end result and then crafted a way to get there. I got
Yeah, that's what I think. And so to make it interesting, they're like, oh, what if he's, he's known for being a great advocate for peace, but he's got terrible war crimes under his belt as well. And let's make him jovial and seeming like a good guy. So we'll cast a good actor who is, can be very friendly and
we're talking Doc Ra here, yeah.
Yep, Robert Wisdom from The Wires, where I
yeah.
fondly from. Yeah,
of course. I didn't recognize him with the forehead makeup.
The makeup, yeah. Funny Colvin.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Pretty interesting season, that one.
Yeah, that was a very interesting season, yeah. So, they did all that, which is good. At least it makes it interesting, but, it was hard to believe, like, okay, only in his insistence for sort of forgiveness can you see that aspect of his character. It's like they wanted to have that situation, and they wanted to have that, and the fact that at the end of it, it's just, Chris can go talk to him, and then no more repercussions.
That's true. You would think there might be more repercussions. The ambassador is on your ship with some people he formerly was fighting against for like a couple of days, and he's murdered. All right, it's fine. He died of a cold or something, but no, he's stabbed to death. All right.
And he was stabbed to death in an infirmary by a doctor with a nurse just off to the side there.
Both of which served, conveniently, both of them are two of the very few people, apparently, that were on Chagall. And they're both backing each other up, like, "Oh yeah, he attacked us. Yep, he attacked Mbenga first." You're like, "Okay, that's a little light on the evidence there." But
Yep. And you would think there would be, video documentation.
That's true. Great point. Yeah, you would think there'd be something on the like, "Oh, whoops." By the way, hilarious episode. Maybe the wackiest one they've done. This was not a comedy. All right, there you go.
Most people might have needed to see the doctor for the whiplash from last episode.
Right, and to the next one.
So I've heard that people binging it may actually be hindered by that fact.
Where are the laughs? What the hell? The thing is punctuated with a series of war flashbacks with Mbenga and Chapel. They're effective. They give us important context. I mean, I've seen better, grittier, war as hell type scenes.
Sure,
but
yeah.
they serve their purpose. I think they do round out the story.
Sure.
By the way, I do have actually a real life former war enemies becoming actual friends story.
Sure.
That I will save till the end because it's only tangentially related.
Okay.
But it's Grandpa Rice in World War II. Story is bonkers. Deserves to be told. So I'm going to tell the story. Okay. Anyway, that's later. Okay.
It's not him and a German with a knife. It's not that, is it?
Very close. No,
oh wow. Okay.
No, it's not. It's not.
He wasn't an inglorious bastard. Okay.
He was a chaplain actually, so it's a little he didn't quite have the chance to do the.
He was Father Mulcahy. Okay.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. He was Father Mulcahy. All right. Anyway, I think that I liked the episode a little better than you did. You had a 6.5 out of 10, I assume.
Yes, that's correct.
I'd give it more like a 7.5. I thought it was actually one of the things I liked about it was focused. It had a point of view. It wanted to tell it, and it told it. And
it
didn't
no B plots.
Right. Pretty much. Right.
Everything's related to this issue. Yeah.
Yeah, and I kind of like that directness because it's one of the complaints I've had about some of these other episodes this season have been they've tried to do too many plot lines at once, and I'm like, I like the fact that here, they took an idea and they went with it. And I did like the reveal. I mean, you could kind of see it coming, but I did like the reveal that Mbenga is our actual butcher of Jagal. Because one of the things I really liked about it was it immediately shifted the motivations of our two antagonists. Like when it seemed that Dekra was the butcher, I was kind of like, why do you even care about what these people think? Hey, could I do some boxing with you? Like, why are you trying to antagonize this guy?
Right. Sure.
But it seemed like he was trying to get forgiveness from the enemy for his atrocities.
Right.
And Mbenga's motivation seemed to be like this latent anger at those atrocities.
Right.
When the flip happens, what I got out of it is that Dekra feels shame in having left his men to die and then taking credit for killing them.
Yeah.
And Mbenga still has latent anger, but the anger is at Dekra from falsely benefiting from Mbenga's shame in his own actions. Shame, Mbenga's shame at having given into violence kept him quiet all these years, and Dekra used that silence to enrich himself, and so that's where I got some of the drama that I didn't realize was there, and then suddenly I'm like, oh, that's an interesting spin on why these guys are having a conflict. So I thought that was some pretty cool drama. I liked it. But
yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess I would have liked more. Like, I don't know if they gained a lot from the whole reveal. He's called the Butcher because he butchered his men. It's like that's the thing that bothered the Klingons. So that's what it's like, oh, he butchered his own men. Oh,
yeah.
What
Not
a
the fact
butcher!
Because we also know that before that, and I think he actually did do this, he gave the order to kill anyone who wasn't a Klingon officer or a Klingon soldier. So just shoot anything. Men, women, children, who cares? If it's not a Klingon soldier, attack.
But apparently, I think, did Mbenga also say that he himself killed children? I meant Dekra.
Dekra. Yeah, yes. I thought you were talking about Mbenga had killed kids.
No, killing children. No.
Okay.
I don't think so.
No, yes, I think you're right. I think Dekra didn't order. According to Mbenga, he didn't order people to do it. He did it himself. Yeah.
Yeah. So I feel like Dekra should have been confronted about that. The fact that he killed him too. It's like, well, why is he not made to answer for that? Why is he not? It's sort of like. They didn't go far enough with, trying to. It's like, okay, we didn't see any trial as a result of it. So, if he's really confronting him, it's like, I don't care what you have to say. I told Chapel that you would pay. So that's really what I'm all about.
It's funny. I didn't think about this till just this moment, but I have yet another real life tie-in to what you've just talked about. You're talking about, like, why could he do all these terrible war crimes and not pay for it? This is a quicker story than the one for Grandpa Rice. I did, like, little summer camp stuff at my high school. So I was teaching chess to grade school kids over the summers.
Yeah.
I'm teaching chess to this little kid.
Okay.
His name is Laws Callie.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah, it seemed like a reasonable kid. We played chess together. I taught him how to, hey, here's a good move you can do, blah, blah, blah. Turns out, I was teaching chess to the son of William Callie. Callie is the My Lai Massacre guy, the guy who ordered the My Lai Massacre in Vietnam.
Oh, wow.
He was court-martialed, then Nixon basically more or less pardoned him, and he didn't really serve much. I don't know if he served any time. And so then he ended up living in Columbus, Georgia, and I taught his kid chess. So he was a guy who did a bunch of war crimes, admitted it, and then didn't pay for it.
Well,
it happens, I'll just say.
Turning into
I know, this is pretty dark.
It's like that in your other story. I was afraid you were going to talk about how you later, killed that guy that did the clock thing on you. So it's like, we can cut this out so you don't get prosecuted.
That's right. Thank you. When in doubt, shank a guy behind a screen. That's what you do. And hopefully, Paul's there to back you up. Paul, you got to back me up.
Yeah.
Chapel lies for him. I know she lies.
Yeah.
Joseph, we got this. We got this.
Yeah. Don't worry. Well, interestingly, I did see that the director of the episode said that he filmed multiple versions.
Yeah, I'd heard that too.
And one of them was pretty clear, like, he just killed him. And then they didn't go with that version.
Yeah,
so.
No, they didn't. They liked the ambiguity. So, in a way, it reminds me of what they're trying to do with the Gorn, where they're saying, something that's supposed to be scary, we're really going to make it scary and also heighten the amount that everybody feels antipathy for it, and it's more important for them to have it be scary than to actually explore the sort of like, okay, they're also flying spaceships.
Right? Yeah, exactly. They have a culture and a tech and a whole organization. They have like paychecks probably. They have whatever. Yeah, so it's like, here we have somebody who's done terrible things and also great things. And they only really get into that a little bit because it's there because they want somebody to kill him. Yeah, okay. All right.
So, if he had, it's like, and maybe the story would have less meaning if he merely injured the guy. Like he attacked him, but it's like it certainly makes it neater because he wanted to kill those people, and now you're only being vengeance, and your vengeance because the law has decided no, that's okay, we don't mind because he's got other benefits. It's like, I don't care, I'm going to be vengeance for this family. It's sort of so all those sort of issues. It's sort of like, is that what you want to say?
I can understand if you were trying to show a motivation, because they do leave it up in the air as to whether this guy attacked him or not. I mean, I feel like you're kind of led to believe he didn't, but let's just say if he did, I could assign a reasoning for it, and the reasoning would be, wait, this is the actual butcher of Chagall. He can question my validity. It would be much better to have this guy not talking about it, so I'm going to try to kill Mbenga before he basically spills the beans.
Oh,
maybe.
right.
Maybe.
Sure.
Anyway, but I'm just saying
maybe.
But obviously Mbenga doesn't even explain any of that, so secret is still with him and maybe Chapel, I guess.
And really, it wouldn't expose him to Starfleet, right? It would only expose... Well, I guess it wouldn't expose him to Starfleet, but now he's done all this other stuff, who would care? Yeah. It would certainly expose him to the, or at least let everybody know, the Klingons know about him. I mean, they already knew about that, I guess. Yeah. But they didn't explain to everybody what the Butcher was.
Yeah.
So, so the fact that they wanted that, and also it's been compared to one of my favorite episodes of Deep Space Nine, In the Pale Moonlight.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Which has a...
kind of like being morally questionable things
Right.
for the greater good kind of thing.
Right, but for there, which I really enjoyed that episode, Cisco performed an act that he is, he feels regretful over, except that he's saying that the ends are justified.
Yeah, doesn't he say, and eventually, like a log that he erases, he says something like, "I'd do it again."
But the most damning thing of all, I think I can live with it. And if I had to do it all over again, I would. Because I can live with it. I can live with it.
And so, that's an interesting quandary. And here, it's sort of like he was put in a situation where he just basically was judge, jury, and executioner. And he's not confronted about that, really. It's because he doesn't want to be complicit, doesn't want to suffer. If he'd said, no, I killed him because he's a terrible person, of course, then that would have consequences.
It would have consequences.
There's so many things about this that, it's like, no, I wanted to kill him and I don't want to suffer consequences for it. So I'm going to come up with an excuse. And everybody who didn't trust him, we don't know. We don't see. We only know that he did bad things and he's trying to do good now. And apparently,
I will say this,
for the show, that's okay. Kill him.
As we're talking here, it occurs to me, why did he have the knife in the med bay? Like, he was remembering his past and wanted to, I don't know, he had that knife in a life. But the fact that he brought it with him into the med bay and then was like, oh, I'll just use this knife. I don't know. It almost makes it a little more like...
premeditated?
Yeah, perhaps. But
I think it was premeditated.
Okay, all right.
I think it was.
Okay.
I mean, it's funny. I didn't think about it at the time that I heard people talking about it, and I was like, maybe it is premeditated. He was sort of like, if you're going to keep after me, I can have this knife around so that because, I might be in a med bay at that time, and I might not have access to knives, so I'll bring this knife.
Computer, drop all audio-visual functions.
Yeah. It's like, I had something in the buffer.
Speaking of which, the pattern buffer trick, they brought that back around. So we see where he got the idea to then use that on his daughter in season 1.
Sure.
Is, if you put them in the pattern buffer, you can preserve them until you can find a cure or whatever.
Yeah. If Pike was following orders, this guy's going to come on your ship. And so treat him well and make sure that the people who've been at war also treat him well. Make him have dinner with them, make sure that they, it's like, was that an order or was Pike stupid? And some people have wondered maybe if he had only just said, you know what, I'm going to fight this. And then, I couldn't fight it. I have to include you.
You're right. Like forcing the sides together in a kind of almost like a mandatory way.
Yeah.
Just felt like, you know what? Isn't it enough that he's an ambassador? He's accepted on the ship. People are going to let him be. Like, you have to, like, no, I want you to publicly go, yay! Like, stop! It's okay. They can harbor some ill will, but treat him nicely. I don't know, anyway.
Now, it's funny. I'm, like, in my head, I'm finding a way that I might accept that. Sort of like, if somebody was involved in it who didn't feel like he should have been forgiven, but is in charge of how it's, done, like, okay, well, why don't you put him on the Enterprise where there's this doctor who
okay, fair enough.
Was an assassin.
Yeah, he's actually the best one-on-one assassin in Starfleet, frankly.
Yeah,
so,
and then make them all have dinner together. And, hey, whatever happens, happens.
And then actually send the wrong recipe to Spock so that it makes his hand burn. Like, I'll have to go to the infirmary. Brilliant. There's some Starfleet Moriarty out there who's just going to kick eggs. One fun cameo was Clint Howard, Ron Howard's brother. Had a role on Chakal. And, of course, he's played He played an alien on the original
At least
series.
apparently, I think he's been in the series a number of times. So I mean, not
Yeah,
series, but
yeah.
Star Trek a number of times.
I think he played a Ferengi on
I think you're
Enterprise. I think he was in Discovery. Anyway, so he's also in Strange New Worlds. So good on him. Why don't I give you the story?
Okay, go ahead.
About people that didn't kill each
Drop
other.
the knowledge.
Okay. So, Grandpa Rice, he ended up being the Army chaplain for the 101st Airborne Division. So that's like the Band of Brothers that show is about. That division.
Cool.
So, and they went in on D-Day, and he flew in a glider and all that kind of stuff. So, this is actually, years later, after the war, he was a Lutheran minister. So the Lutheran ministries did like these, the oral history collection of the archives of the Lutheran Council in the U.S.
Cool.
So they're talking to Grandpa Rice, and he's telling them this story. Let me get to it. Okay, so I'm going to read the first part, basically in his own words.
Go right
ahead. It was when I was with the 101st Airborne Division. If you remember, the 101st was the division that was surrounded at Bastogne, Belgium, Christmas 1944. We were pounded mercilessly until we were relieved by one of the armored units. But later on then, in the early spring, while we were fighting in an area trying to go toward Berlin at that particular time, we were in a little village. We had a number of wounded, a number of casualties. We were in a basement. I was there with a medical officer, and the opposition was so great that they began to re-attack this little village. And the order was given to withdraw. And all the walking wounded were asked to leave that collecting station. There must have been about 45 or 50 men who could not be moved. And so that one young doctor and I decided to stay with these men and take our chances of being captured, but at least these men could not be moved and they needed encouragement. So we stayed there. And we could hear the enemy advancing, and they were throwing grenades into the windows and into the basements and into the buildings of everything that was standing. Wow. I heard one go off right next to us, and I said, let's all begin to say the Lord's Prayer. So we began to say the Lord's Prayer. Then I looked up, and there I saw a German soldier with a grenade in his hand standing right by this basement window. There's no glass. It was blown out. And I closed my eyes as I went on with the prayer because I thought, well, this is it. God will be with me. God will help me. These people too. And it seemed like I had my eyes closed for an awfully long time. But when we got to the part of the prayer where it says, forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us, I opened my eyes. I noticed this German soldier, instead of throwing the grenade, was on his knees with his head bowed. And I could hear him say in German, Vergib uns unser Schulden, the translation of forgive us our trespasses. Right, sure. And he stayed there till the prayer was finished. Then he got up, he took the grenade, threw it harmlessly aside, and walked on.
Interesting.
Later on that afternoon, our troops came back. We took the village, and they released us, of course. Now, he goes on. That's amazing in and of itself, right?
That's
my
amazing.
God. Whoa. So, months later, he visits a POW camp to talk to the German chaplains there. This prisoner comes up. Hey, you remember me? And it's this guy. And he's now in a POW camp. And he basically says, hey, you know what? That moment was important to me. I want to become a minister.
Oh, wow.
And so Grandpa Rice arranges for his release. He becomes a Lutheran minister. And after the war, they're friends. They're colleagues.
Wow. That's interesting.
And he became a liaison to the American forces in Germany. We were in Frankfurt at the time. No, even this guy. So it's not just like a story that's like, okay, because it sounds like it's made up. But no, this guy was a real person who in that moment decided, I don't want to go blow up all these wounded people in a basement. I think I'd rather just quit. And like, freaking, and it worked out. Anyway, so there you go.
So even, because I was imagining, even as he was saying the prayers, obviously we heard, the story. Otherwise, did you get killed? No.
Yeah, right. Right.
But
yes,
even
and
then,
I died.
I feel like even as he was saying the Lord's Prayer, he still could have, like, forgive me my trespasses, like the one I'm about to do.
Great point. Yeah. Hey, just following orders, you know what I mean? Anyway, all right, on to the next.
I've asked for forgiveness, throw the bomb, boom, we're good.
Boom. Very good. I did. That's what I do before
Yeah,
everyone. Yeah, I just
exactly.
do that. No, but yes. So I'm lucky to be here. In that Grandpa Rice probably had a, he was lucky that was the guy holding the grenade and not one of hundreds of others who might have just been like, all right, that's fine.
That's right.
That.
You said he was your grandfather?
Yeah, Grandpa Rice.
Yeah, so, wow. So, yeah, but for that, you might not have
Yes.
been.
I would not be doing the Dork Lords or anything. Not even a twinkle in the eye, Paul.
That kid wouldn't have learned any chess there.
That's right.
That other kid
So-
in chess wouldn't have received his comeuppance.
That's right. Yeah, what happened was Grandpa Rice grabbed this crystal shard and he realized his future. And so it turned out couldn't change it. But anyway, all right. So there you go. That's the heartwarming version of meeting your enemy.
Yeah.
So there you go. Anyway, next time we're going to be talking about the musical. I am so interested, for better or worse. I'm interested to see what they do on this. So let's see. Let's bring it on, Star Trek. So we'll be talking about that next time.
All right.
Thank you as always, Paul.
No
Appreciate
problem.
it, good sir. And we'll talk to everybody next time.
Bye.
Bye.